Hey guys, it's Max. How's everyone doing? All right, I have a new original video, or I wrote the script last night. It's about USOY. It's actually about a video that I saw yesterday that's a good video. I'm going to post a link to that you guys ought to go watch first chance you can. All right, it's called $300 oil. What the hell? You got to be kidding me, right? All right. I watched Peter Zeihan yesterday. A lot of you guys know who he is. He's a former Austin dude. He lived in Austin for a long time. He retired and moved to Colorado, I think. But he's an interesting guy as far as his geopolitical takes. He has some books that are out, and he's always making controversial predictions, and some of them do come true, and some of them haven't. But he's an interesting fellow, okay? When I first started listening to him, he was talking about the collapse of China, which other people have spoken about. But he said, someday soon they won't manufacture anything anymore. And this was like 5 years ago, and I was thinking about that, and it just seemed crazy at the time. But then, like a year and a half ago, I heard that Foxconn moved their last factory out of China, and that's one of the predictions that has come true. So he does say stuff that does come true. Well, today in this video, he's talking about war breaking out between Iran and Israel, and he thinks it's a distinct possibility. Unfortunately, I think he said maybe like a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 chance, but he thinks that'll make oil shut down the Straits of Hormuz. It'll make oil go to not here in America, because we'll have our own. The oil economy in the world will bifurcate. Just watch the video. We'll be all right here in America compared to other places, but in any event, it's going to make the price of oil go way up. Okay. So I figured, if there's even a chance that comes true, let's try to see if we can, maybe take advantage of that. In that election arbitrage video, I was showing how to look at like an outlier risk if like neither Trump or Kamala get elected, and you have to weigh the outlier risk, in with your calculations. Well, it sounds like oil being a $300 a barrel is an outlier. I believe in this video, he says he thinks there's like a 1 in 4 chance it happens in the next few months or something. Anyway, maybe he's just going for clicks. I think he's a good guy. If you don't like this video, listen to some of his other videos. I listen to him every day. He's interesting. Anyway, but I'm more interested in not so much talking about whether or not he's right or wrong. A lot of people disagree with him a lot, and a lot of people love him. But I want to just say, let's just assume that he's right. How do we make the most amount of money we can make off it with taking the least amount of risk? And that's kind of what I want, always. That's kind of the theme of my life. All right. So the trade I'm going to show you guys is called a call ratio back spread. But you can also just get a call. But we're gonna have to find some way to profit off USO. And yes, we could just buy the high yield fund USOY. But what do we know about high yield funds? They're capped on the upside, and it's not a great way to play, a growth situation. And this is what we're calling a growth situation. So we'll forget about that for now. But what we can do is we could buy a call option in the stock USO. Okay. So what that'll do, what that'll do. You guys on my station, buying a call option, you have limited risk and unlimited upside. We could also do the call ratio back spread, which is another way of essentially buying a call option. We'll look at the option simulator here in a second. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but one way or another, we want to try to get long through the end of the year oil. And we're going to use USO as our proxy for oil. USO is an ETF that trades oil futures. All right. The side benefit of the call ratio back spread is you can also make money if you miss your prediction and oil goes way down or oil stays where it is. The call ratio back spread has a little less NAV burn to it. It burns your NAV a little less hard than just buying the single option. But I'll show you that in a second. But then we're going to address the NAV burn too. We don't want it. We don't want any NAV burn, so we're going to get rid of that as well. Okay, so here we go. Let's check this out. This is a call ratio back spread. All right, what you do here is this: you have goes out till January 17th of 2025. You sell an at the money call, a 73 strike. It goes for like nearly $7, but then you go out like 20 more strikes out of the money. You find something that costs a little bit less than half as much. That's important, a little bit less, something you can buy two of, but still do it at a credit. So look at this trade. You could put this trade on for a credit of $156. And if you're wrong, unless oil actually goes down, Peter's wrong, oil, you make $156 on this trade. And even if oil goes to zero, whereas if you just bought shares in USO, that's another way you could handle this. You could just buy shares in USO. If you buy shares in USO and Peter's wrong and it goes the other way, you're going to be in a world of hurt. This way you aren't. So this is the way I would recommend it. This is called a call ratio back spread. I'll post the link to it in here. We do this trade for a credit. However, if you wanted to, you could do it like this. This is just the long option only. See, that's the 85 strike call. The call ratio back spread is just selling a spread to pay for that call. You could also just pay for the call yourself. Right here, that 85 call cost about $250 right now. There's advantages to doing it each way, and I can make a different video on that. But and some accounts aren't qualified for spread, so you would have to just buy the 85 call. But this is a perfectly legit strategy too. We'll look at it both ways. All right, so here's what I'm thinking when I see something like this. Okay, is wonder if Peter's wrong. I mean, if I had I can't buy calls on everything I hear on every internet rumor I hear. Okay, wonder if I had a way to finance the purchase of those calls. Okay, let's just say we did the options just to keep it simple. Just bought the call options trading at 255. Okay. I know that's going to cost me $255 between now and January when it expires. Okay. Well, here's my idea though. We could buy shares in the company USOY, the ETF USOY that's based on USO, pays a dividend or pays based on oil volatility. And it says it's a dividend, but it pays covered call premium to you. So this would be a way to finance it, because if USO goes nowhere, if USO goes down, if USO goes up, in either three events, this fund is still going to pay a dividend. So we're going to buy enough shares of the ETF to offset the bleed from the option. So then, in other words, the option's free. Okay. So let's do this. The option paid, or the USOY paid $61. 100 shares paid $61 last month. They have 3 more payments this year. So at that rate, that's about $180. That option costs $250. Okay. You could buy 200 shares. And 200 shares, you should easily get $300 or $400 in commissions between now and the end of the year. 200 shares of USOY. And USOY also will make money if USO goes up, but it's going to be partially capped, right? Okay, so, but it can play a part in the plan, because if Peter's wrong, oil doesn't go anywhere or goes down, this USOY will still, at least don't be making our payments. At least we won't be out the money for the call option. Okay, USOY is a pretty good fund. I mean, it can only do as well as the underline's doing, and oil has been kind of trading sideways for the past. For the past little while. But if oil breaks out, and takes off to a multi-year bull market because of the war in the Middle East, then this will be a good fund to be in. Just like NVDY is partially capped and doesn't get all the upside of NVDA, but NVDY and MSTY have still been damn good funds to have during the bull market for their respective underlines. So it would be a really badass combination to have 200 shares of USOY and to buy that option. If oil goes to $300 a barrel, your option's worth $21,000. Okay. If oil goes nowhere, you lose $250 on the option, but your 200 shares of USOY has paid you 2 dividend payments, so you have your money paid back for the option. Okay, so now let's talk about that though. So the good is you earn the income from the option premium no matter what. You're going to earn that no matter what when you own USOY. The bad news is, though, you're capped on the upside on USOY, but you can still make, like I was talking about on NVDY and MSTY, they still can do all right in the bull market. But the ugly is you have to buy USOY. So if Peter's wrong and oil does go down, yes, it's great that USOY gave you enough income to pay for your call option gamble on USO, but now the NAV of USOY is down. So that's really what you're trying to beat, and that's what this really is. It's a bullish bet on USO. If USO stays the same, you'll be all right. If USO goes up, especially if it goes up a lot, you'll be all right. You'll be really all right. If USO goes down, so if oil goes down, USO goes down, you'll be hurting, but no worse than somebody else that just had stock in USO. Or, I mean, it's just that because the call option would not have cost you extra. You don't have an extra penalty for it going down because the call option is paid for by the premium from the premium on USOY. Now, some people, if you don't care about paying for that, just go spend $255 on that call option by itself and don't buy USOY. You can do that too, but just know that the $255 is most likely gone. When you buy it, it's like a lotto ticket. Look here, if USO doesn't go up, look, it has to go up 18% just to get to break even. I mean, just to double your money, you need that stock to move 23%. Not that it can't happen. I mean, if Peter's right, you'll be damn glad you bought it. But so that, and of course, that's one way to do it. I would still recommend doing it this way, which is the call ratio back spread, where you sell an option to pay for 2 options. Anyway, either way you do it, you're still just trying to get long this 85 call. Find a way to get long this 85 call in case he's right. Find a way to finance it in case he's wrong. That's today's option lesson. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment. I'll try to answer. All right, guys, take care.